Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Winged Horse Designs. I'm Donna Goodwin. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator located in Brookings, South Dakota. This afternoon, I'm going to show you how to make this really simple and fun half Dutch door card. So it's really a lot of fun and it's really super simple. Before I get started, I want to thank everyone for joining me. And for those who were here last week, I did this really fun little turtle mirrored stamping image card. During the live, this card went out to Brenda. And for those of you who came in on replay, this is going out to Betty P. So Betty, I will private message you if Facebook will allow me to. If not, please send me your private message me your mailing address and I'll get that card in the post to you. So I'm going to go ahead and switch cameras. And here's a better view of the card. And it's a half Dutch fold, so we don't have a top to it. And you're just going to flip it open. And so the front says, hello, friend. And the inside says, you are the sunshine that brightens so many of my days. You know, when it's really warm like this, like it is in August, I think of lemonade. So I'm going to set that aside. I do have some other cards that I'm going to show you, but I want to talk about the mini catalog will be available. I can't show you the inside. And oh, there are so many nice things in here. This will be available September 6th through December 31st. So lots of fun things in there. So look forward to being able to access this and see fun things inside. So the other cards that I have is this one is another half Dutch fold, door fold like the other one, but it's a different way of putting it together. And I'll talk about that after we do this other one. There's a little technique stuff done in there as well. This one, and we'll talk about all of these in a little more detail later, is 2 Dutch doors. So you open the top Dutch door and then you open the bottom Dutch door. So this is for the gentlemen in our lives or the ladies who like beer. And then this one is using a Dutch door that comes down from the top and then a double Dutch door on the inside. I didn't do a great deal with this because I really wanted the paper from the Fresh as a Daisy to do all of the heavy lifting on this one. So for this card that we're going to do today, I used the Bright and Beautiful Designer Series paper. And these are really fun papers because they have these bright, cheerful, geometric type of designs. So this one, you have some yellow stars and you have some stripes on the back. You have some of these and some, I love these backgrounds on the back as well, but there's just, I don't think there's a single pattern in here that I don't like. But look at all these fun colors and fun shapes that you can use on just about any card, especially if you want it to be bright and cheerful. Perfect for a birthday, right? And some fun stars. I love stripes. These little lemon lime twist circles just kind of made me think of lemonade and limeade. So I'll move those away. All right, so the stamp set that I chose to use, but of course you can use anything you like, is from the, hi Lori, from the So Refreshing stamp set. I picked this one up during the stamp sale a couple weeks ago. So I do now have to go back and get the dies because I'm like, I really want the dies to go with it too. But I just thought it was kind of fun because who doesn't love lemonade in the summertime? And then for the sentiments, I went to Hope You Know. I think it has some really fun inside and outside sentiments that coordinate well together. So I chose Hello Friend and You Are the Sunshine. But this one really caught my attention because I thought it would be nice for someone who's going through a hard time. You know, it talks about wishing you comfort, but on the inside, it's down here. Sorry, it comes this way. It says, may you find peace in the days to come and in loving thoughts. So I just thought that these were really fun inside outside sentiments. And sometimes it's really hard to find a card that has good inside and outside sentiments. So hello, Betty, and hello, Irene. All right, so for the measurements, you'll need a card base that you're going to start with initially. That's 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches. We're going to do some scoring and cutting a little bit later. Whoops. I actually, if I can get my act together here. So here we go, the card base. We're going to score it at 4.25 inches, just like you normally would, but then we're going to do some cutting. And the measurements are in the description, so you don't need to write them down. For our mats, they are 2 5/8 of an inch. Whoa, there's a typo there. It's not 43 5/8 of an inch. It's only 4 5/8 of an inch, but we're going to use 2 of those. And this is Azure Afternoon. And then for our stamping pieces, we're going to take for the inside of the card, 4 by 5.25 inches. And for the front, this one is 2.5 by 4.5. And then for our designer series paper that we're putting on there, I only have, oh, I do have both of them here. One measures 2.5 by 4.5 because I thought it was be nicer to finish this off, and you'll see the difference as we're putting the card together. And then one that's 2 by 4 for the front. I know I chose light colors again, and they don't show up as well on the video. So real quick, one more announcement before we get going. There's still time to sign up for next week's card classes, and we're using these 3 stamp sets in those card classes. So if you're interested in coming, if you're local and you're interested in coming to class, these are the 3 stamp sets we're going to use in that class. And you can find that in the link below that says calendar. So let's move. I'm going to go ahead and move this out of the way because I have zoomed in pretty close today. I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer. Get this so, and hopefully you can see those measurements. Maybe not, because it's kind of a pretty light out. And I'm going to score at 4.25. Now you can do this with the trimmer, or you can do this with a pair of scissors. I'm going to flip this over this way because it's easier for me to see. And I want to come up 2 1/4 inches from the bottom. So that's going to take me to the 3.25 inch mark. And I'm going to cut along that fold line. And then I'm going to turn it this way. And I'm going to come down to where that cut and fold line are and line it up on the 2 1/4 inches. And you can see that I can line, okay, let's get this up here. I can line this little groove here right up with this. And I'm going to cut the front off. So we're just going to take this piece off. And we have a half Dutch door. I always think of the old movies when I think of Lemonade, in the country where they had these cute little Dutch doors and they were looking out at beautiful English gardens and the like. I can grow weeds. Okay. So let's do our stamping first, and then we'll start putting our card together. So I'm going to bring in a foam mat because I'm working with photopolymer. And I'm going to start by stamping my picture in Azure Afternoon. And I'm also going to stamp Hello Friend in the top right. Try to get this straight and try not to get my head in the camera. Then I'm going to bring in Garden Green. And I'm going to stamp the stem, but I'm also going to bring in a piece of scrap paper. So we have Marge and Irene and Betty and Lori and initials BLT. I forget what your name is. I apologize. All the way from Pennsylvania. Actually, BLT is from just a few miles away from where my father grew up. I am going to, because you know, when you put your water in here or your lemonade, the bottom of your stem will be a little bit lighter. So I'm going to put a piece of paper right here so that only the top half is dark. Don't forget to put your questions in, and when we get to questions and answers, I'll answer those. So I'm going to stamp this, and then I'm going to ink it up again, and I'm going to, wow, I'm getting really messy. I'm going to stamp off, and I don't trust myself. And I'm going to put the paper on the top side. And I'm going to line this stem up on there, and I'm going to stamp it down so that it's a little bit lighter underneath the water. Hi, Mary from Indiana. First time watching me live. Well, welcome. And for anyone joining on the replay, welcome as well. We are doing a couple of Dutch fold cards. I'm actually only going to demonstrate this one and then talk about the others. Now I'm going to move this down again because our stem's kind of sitting in the top, and let's face it, your stem's going to be near the bottom of your vase or pitcher. So I'm just going to bring this down again and do the exact same thing. I'm going to kind of line up on that so that I can bring the stem all the way down to the bottom of the pitcher. And then I'm going to bring in Lemon Lolly. Becky, thank you. I knew I would eventually remember it. So we have these flowers, and I struggled with this stamp, I have to admit. I kept trying to, need something dark. Okay, so I kept trying to line up this petal here into this space right here. And I couldn't get, and it was like nothing was really lining up right. So then I kept twisting around. I realized that this kind of more roundish petal here fits into this hole, and then the petal right above it cradles right into this tiny little arc in here. This tiny, tiny little arc in this stem. It cradles right into there. And if you can line it up that way, it just fits in perfect. So I'm going to come down a little close to me, apologize. So I'm going to line up I'm going to actually work on lining up the top one into the cradle, and then the fat one into the, or fat one, listen to me, the more circle, more roundish one into the space. And look at that. They just, with yellow is a hard color, isn't it? But they just cradle right into each other when you do that. So I'll set that aside, and we'll bring in our lemonade and stamp off with that. It's kind of weak lemonade. And then we'll put some lemon slices in there. We'll stamp full strength with those. How many of you actually put lemon slices into your lemonade when you make lemonade? And then we have some lemon slices floating around in our lemonade. So I'm going to set that aside and bring in our inside. And we're going to bring our picture back in an Azure Afternoon. Stamp a couple glasses. Also in Azure Afternoon. Well, in Azure Afternoon, not in Garden Green. Now, I know there are many of us who have done that before. I've stuck our stamp in the wrong color. Couple glasses because I'm going to share my lemonade with a friend. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp the "You Are the Sunshine That Brightens So Many of My Days." And I'm actually going to center this sort of. Okay, I'm done with Azure Afternoon. I'm going to close it up. Now I can only have two colors in which I can accidentally use the wrong one. We're going to put some lemonade in our pitcher. It's kind of weak lemonade. Some lemonade in our glasses. Oops, forgot to stamp off of those. Some ice cubes in our glasses. The ice cubes don't show up real well when you forget to stamp off to begin with. Some lemon slices in our pitcher. Nothing's better than fresh squeezed lemonade, right? Now I'm going to close these up and put them away. And I'm going to bring in a Stampin' Blend marker. This happens to be ivory. I don't want my pitcher and my glasses to be kind of floating in midair. So I'm just going to kind of ground them a little bit. They're sitting on the brown table, on the ground. Who knows where they are? And I'm going to do the same thing with the pitcher on the front. You could use a marker. You could use anything you like. So there's our stamping. So I'm going to go ahead and put my inside in. Oh, I know, Lori. Fresh squeezed lemonade. I'll be at Prairie Village at the end of August, and they have a fresh squeezed lemonade stand there. One of my favorite concessions to go to. I'll bring this in. We'll take, so one of these pieces I'm going to put the big Designer Series paper on. And one I'm going to put our Hello Friend piece on. So if you're watching and you enjoy the videos that I do, please do like, comment, and share. I do read all the comments, and I monitor them super close for the first few days, and then maybe not quite as close after that. After that, maybe I only look at it a couple times during the day. So I'm going to put this one on the front. By putting the inside in, I can line these up so that they're kind of almost perfect. We'll put this one on its mat. And we want this to cover up a little bit of the picture and our sentiment. So I'm actually going to flip it upside down, and I'm going to get it lined up on there. So it's not quite perfectly centered, but close enough. And I'm going to use that as my guide as to where to put my glue. And so you could stop there, but I thought it would be nice to give it a more finished look by putting a piece on the inside as well. And I'm just going to line these two right up on top of each other. And that just gives the inside a finished look as well as the front. So we need a few gems. The adhesive backed solid gems have pecan pie, boho blue, and lemon lolly. So we're just going to use the lemon lolly pieces. And we're just going to add a few little gems to the front of our card. And we'll just stick one, how about in this flower? And there you have the first. This one's a half gatefold. I'm going to deal with comments here real quick, and maybe some questions and answers. And then we'll move on to the other cards. So I have Lori is here. Betty is here. All is very well with me, Betty. Today's a good day. Irene is here. We have Marge here. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed the cards. And Betty, my new pen pal from California, says, what is the name of the sentiment stamps you just showed again? Okay, they are Hope You Know is the name of the stamp set. And it has, I used it again on another card that I'm going to show you in a bit. It has this nice one for kind of a thank you, truly, deeply grateful. And then it says, just saying thank you doesn't seem like enough. Hope you know how much your kindness is appreciated. It also has thinking of you today and the day after that and the day after that and the day after that and so on. So a nice one for just a thinking of you. The wishing you comfort and may you find peace. A nice good card for our sentiment for sympathy. And of course this one just because. And then you have a miss you that you can use. And Becky is from Pennsylvania. Always enjoy your tip and techniques. Thank you. I try. We have Mary here. It's her first time and she's from Indiana. So I hope Mary will be back a time and again. That was BLT let me know her name's Becky because I had forgot. Lori likes the cards. They're so cute. Irene. Thank you, Irene. Yes, today's my birthday. It's a good day. I've already had lunch with my daughter. I've already had a couple birthday cards. One was, I'm not sure where the other one is. A friend of mine from Colorado sent me one. What color yellow did you use? Lemon Lolly. I used Lemon Lolly. And this is the homemade card that I got for my birthday. Just delivered to me right before the live from Brenda. Thank you, Brenda. This is a bridge fold card. So with some, it's a retired paper, but it's just absolutely lovely paper. So, and I like this one because guess what? It's gonna stand up and not fall over. All right, let's move on to a couple other cards. So this one is also a half gatefold. And on this one, I started with just a piece. I should have cut some pieces to show you. Let's see if I have some. We can make this one work. So let me cut this. I started with a piece that was just a quarter sheet of cardstock. So it was 4¼ inches by 5½, just a quarter sheet. And then with a mat that was however high you want your gate to be. I'm just going to go ahead and go with 2¼ inches by 4¾ inches. And these measurements they're on my blog that will be posted a little bit later. And I scored at 1½, or I scored at a ½ inch. So if you don't like trying to cut along the score line and then cut this way, you can do it this way. You can start with a 1/4 inch and you can glue this piece right here on this side. And then when you put your inside in, you can either make it a little large. When you put it here, and let's see if I can hold all these together and not lose grip, you'll notice that right here and right here, you can see that little bit of the seam. Now, if that bothers you, you can do what I did here, and you can just snug this piece right down next to it, and that will cover up those pieces, and you won't see those pieces, and you just glue them between these two layers. Whoops. You glue them between these two layers, and you have, and in this case, what I did is I just went ahead and I still stuck with my 4 by 5¼ inch piece, which gave me a wider margin up there. And I thought it was kind of nice to have a little bit wider margin up there because sometimes just something a little different, right? Now for this floral piece, and this designer series paper is inked with botanicals. So kind of a plaid on the front and kind of a wood grain on the inside. And then the stamp set is Quiet Meadow. That's where the sentiment comes from. And then it's got some little words, and I stamped off a couple times and just put some down here. The flower, I cut it with watercolor paper, and I cut 2 of them, and then I just watercolored the flower. Now, I forgot, and I watercolored 2 going the same direction. Well, the problem with that is then when they didn't line up perfectly this way. So when you do that, you'll want to cut 2. You'll want to flip one over and color the opposite direction, its mirror image. And then by coloring the mirror image, if this were the mirror image that I had colored, then you can get them to line up perfectly so that your inside and your outside are identical. And I just put a little linen thread bow on each of those. So same thing, half Dutch fold, just slightly different way to put it together depending on how you feel about measurements. And I'll get to some more questions in a bit in comments. This one for a little bit more of a masculine look. Anyone who knows me knows I really struggle with masculine cards. I chose the Brood for You. If I were to do this again, I would not I tried to ground these again. I don't think I would do that. It just didn't come out the way I wanted on this particular card. I started with a piece of white that measures 4 by 5¼ inches, and I brought in the Artistic Mask. Those are some masks that you can get in the catalog. There's 4 masks, 5, I think, actually 5 in this particular set. But I used 2 of them to create this plaid pattern. So I took the bigger squares, so these bigger squares, I used a blending brush with Granny Apple Green. Then I realigned the smaller one on top of that and did it in Garden Green to get my background. I put it on the card front, and then I opened up the card front and I cut it in half so that I'd have 2 doors. And then I didn't want it to look kind of awkward, so I cut I stamped my glasses and die cut them out with the Rude dies. And then I put one down here, and I started by putting one right here that perfectly sits over the top of this one on the inside. I did draw a little line to create kind of a table. And then, of course, I put one on the back side of that. Then I came in and I put just glue on the top one and put it on, and then I folded it over and sliced it off so that every direction you go, you have your glasses on this one. So hopefully whoever you're giving it to doesn't necessarily drink all of those themselves, but shares them with someone. And then for the last one, I wanted the designer series paper to do all the hard lifting because I just love this paper. I thought it was such a pretty one. I used a card base of Orchid Oasis. I stamped an Orchid Oasis directly onto the designer series paper. This designer series paper, I started with 4 by 5 1/4, and I did kind of adjust through it because it comes with a great big sheet with flowers on the bottom and sky on the top. So I adjusted it to get exactly what I wanted. So I have a little more waste than normal, probably. I cut this designer series paper at 3 3/4 inches to put on the top, and I'll talk about the base of this in a bit. And then for the bottom one that was 2 by 4, I cut it into 2 inches, so you have 2 by 2. So you have a hinge that goes up, and then you have double Dutch doors that open this way. Now for this particular base, and again, on my blog post, they'll be up in a bit, we'll have the measurements for these. This card base is actually 4 3/16 of an inch. Don't panic, let's see, get my little pointer tool. So if we are, give the camera a chance. So if you're coming in here, you have your full inches and your 1/4 inches. Each of these tiny marks is a 1/16 of an inch. So normally our card base would be 4 1/4 inches, and I just backed it off to 4 3/16 of an inch so that when we wrap this panel around it, because it's just glued here on the back, when we wrap it around, we wouldn't have too much bulk there. These would fold over nicely. So you're just think of it as starting out with 4 1/4 inches by 8 3/4 of an inch, and just snipping a tiny little piece off here so it'll lay in nice and flat. It's scored at 5 1/2 to give you a standard card. And then this piece here is 2 inches by 8 1/2 inches, scored at 2 1/8 of an inch from each side to give you your double Dutch doors. So let's go one more time here and see what we got, and then we'll do the giveaway. So if you'd like to be in on the live giveaway, it does pull from comments, whether you're watching on YouTube or Facebook. So if you want to be in on the giveaway, please ask a question or make a comment. So I think I left off with Lori saying what color. So let's see. Becky says, oh, happy birthday. Today would have been her mother's 101st birthday. Wow. My parents, they were March and April, and they would have both been, my dad would have been over 100, but my mom would have been in her 90s this year. Been busy. Well, yeah, a little bit. A little bit busy. And Betty, Her 88th birthday is September 8th. I have to make note of that, Betty, so I remember to send you a birthday card. You don't know me real well yet, but I tend to be really late on birthday cards. Just saying, I tend to be late. Anyone who knows me knows that I'm always late on getting my birthday cards out. All right, so I'm going to queue up the giveaway tool, and then we will see who this card. Whoops. There we go. Get that out of there. And we'll see who's going to get this one. So we'll get that started. Oops, I wanted that one. There we go. So it's been a lot of comments, but there's only been 6 of you. So you stand a really good chance. Mary, congratulations, Mary. Mary, I do not have your mailing address. So if you are, let's see, let me double check. Are you on Facebook or YouTube? You're coming in on YouTube. So if you go to the About on my YouTube page, down at the very bottom is my email address, and you can send me your mailing address, and I'll get this card out in the post to you. So I hope everyone has enjoyed this card. Again, if you like this, please do like, comment, and share. And I will be, I'm not sure what I'm doing. What am I doing? I'm not sure what I'm doing Friday. Friday, it's an uploaded, not a live. And, we're going to do a trifold card. So I hope you'll come back and join me Friday on the upload. So I won't be live, but I'll upload something. So have a wonderful week, everyone. And I will see you live on Monday and Friday for an upload. Have a great day. Oh, don't forget, wrong direction, this way. Here's another fun fold that you might want to check out. It's a Cascade display card, and it stands up. It's really nice. Have a wonderful week, everyone. Bye-bye.